Hey everybody, welcome back. We'll do a little subfloor. Today we got our floor joists all installed. We got them hung on our LVLs here from side to side. We got some of it started, but I'm gonna dive in here a little bit. Look here. First off, we got all our floor joists crowned, meaning that there's like a crook in the board, or the way that it flows from end to end is like there's a crown this way. So if you're looking at it from the side, that board would be frowning. We're going to put all our crowns up in the air. We got our joists tied into our LVL here with our Simpson hangers, our hanger nails. We got some of this already installed here. We are using Georgia Pacific dry guard 3/4 inch OSB tongue and groove, meaning that on the top edge there's a tongue that sticks out from it, and on the back side here there is a groove here, so that tongue from the previous row locks into this groove on the sheet here. So these dry guard panels, you can see it says there's a 200-day no sand guarantee, meaning that these boards could be out in the weather, rained on, snowed on. In our case, haven't had much rain, but snowed on. They could have 200 exposures basically before this surface would have to be sanded to bring it back to what it should be. We are not going to have 200 days here before we're dried in, so we are well under that threshold. We got our first row in here started with a full sheet because that's the way our center's laid out. They laid out from the outside going towards the house. We are 16 on center. It says these sheets at the ends, 1/8 inch spacing at the end panels. That same 1/8 gap, as you can see here. No, it's hard to see. There's black edges here, but if I take the blade of my knife and needle it back and forth in there, there's that 1/8 gap there. These walls are also marked, so it's kind of nice and clean, so we can take a look here. They got these black dots here, and there's spacing marks on them. So if you take a look, this edge looks a little bit cleaner. Here's the edge of our sheet. First mark, 16 and 19.2 center, which isn't really used at all. That was sort of like an energy code fail, I guess. Maybe they use it in Europe. I'm sure there's people in America here that do use it. I don't know too many people, but the idea was it sort of shrunk the space between a 16 center and a 24-inch center to save on some material, but I don't really know anybody that uses it. Then we got a 24-inch center, back to 16, another 19.2. There's a 24-inch center, or a 16-inch center, which would be half the sheet, and you can see the mark going all the way down. They also have some marks going across the sheet, so if we look at this 16 center here, we got a nail marker there. There's one, another one there, two in the middle, one there, and one there. So if we count them going across, we got one at the end, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nails across a 4-foot sheet. So roughly like every 8 inches or so, with the 2 in the middle. That's what this sheet requires. Since these marks are already on here, I don't feel the need to draw 16 centers on here. So these sheets are manufactured. You can look here and see. There's my nail. There's my 16. My 16 centers are pretty much right on the money here. The stamping is off a little, but if you just follow them down, I'm just keeping my nails slightly to the right of those marks, so I know that I'm also going to get some glue on my sheet here. So I'm going to glue up 7 floor joists. That's going to get me to where I need to be. I'm going to reach as far as I can here, and I'm going to put like a bead of glue, I guess roughly the diameter of a number 2 pencil on here, as far as I can reach. As far as I can reach there. On there. And then this will be my last one. So this glue tends to ooze out a little bit after I release this. So I'm just going to try to wipe off some excess before it's piled up on my sheathing. So if we look at, if we count them, we got the very first one, 1, 16 center, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the first one. So I'm only gluing up 7 at a time. I'm going to pop this thing in place here, and hopefully you guys could see this a little bit. Struggle, especially if the sheets are bowed a little bit, but I'm going to show you how to get it in place, how to beat it, get it in there. So I got my sheet ready to go. Stamps are on the bottom, that's what faces in, so when the inspector comes, you can see all the appropriate ratings that go along with the sheet. Make sure I'm using the right stuff here. Make sure that it meets code. And I'm just gonna use that, get it pushed down along my edge there, and a line here. So I guess one disadvantage of the glue that possibly can have is that it makes things a little slick. The sheet slides around a little bit, but I'm going to get this as close as possible. Try to beat it in place here, and then I'm going to use a 2x4 across here to pound it in. So I'm going to take my thread and my 2x on here, put it where it belongs, and I'm going to beat on the 2x4. Not the board. So I'm going to spread 1 foot because that end's popping up in the air. I'm going to tap this until it goes in. I'm going to come down this end, set it down, tap, come down this end, set it down, get it locked in, back over here. Popped out again. Get that locked in there. Same thing here. Tap. Bang it in. corner's locked in. This side is not locked in. So while I got one in place, I'm gonna take this and tack one nail in place. That way it doesn't move on it. And I can come back to this side here and focus on this. Beating that in. Come back to the middle here. Get my board. Here, this against here, and tap that in place there. So I get that locked right in. Alright, now that we're locked into place here, got it tacked on both ends, I'm going to follow the nailing sequence of the board. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one I got already tacked in. Here's my previous sheet. Nailing it along the edge here. And now I'm just going to follow my center. So if I kick this out of the way a little bit, you know, my marks are slightly off. I'm just staying right to the right of it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over to my next 16. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Gap is uniform here. I got my 1/8" gap following along here. My board's in line right along here. Now I gotta measure and cut my final piece right along this. So all I'm gonna do is take 2 measurements from my house to there, 19 3/4. Subtract my 1/8" gap, so 19 5/8. Take it down here, 20 3/8 minus my 1/8, so 20 1/8 on this, 19 5/8 on there. So you can see that we definitely have a little bit of skew in the way the house is running. It is 120 some years old, so it's not that unexpected that that's occurring, but that way we'll have my gap there and we'll be right along the house. So hopefully you guys learned some, hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.